Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 16th. This will be a tactical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple of quick clarifications. Number one, the price you see right there will be changing, and then the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, GSIT, another monster move here. Pretty crazy to think that just last week this thing was down here below $2 and today went up and slightly for a second got up above $7. But regardless, crazy move here. I want to get things mapped out, as you got to think there's going to be that many more people watching it. So the first dynamic here that I want to get into play is this trend line right there. And let me be very clear, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that's a great discovery on my part or a great skill. A lot of people have done that. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no guarantees, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that the price curls back up, comes up to that level and gets a break up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly, again, not a guaranteed outcome, but a plausible outcome. If you do like to play more so pullbacks, an interesting pullback area, at least in my opinion, down here right around the $4.50 mark. But all in all, higher highs and higher lows, and from a bigger picture point of view, that's the name of the game. But if you're somebody that likes to play potential breakouts, then I definitely keep an eye on that trend line. Next one, FFIE, and the nice movement continues. Mapped out this one on Friday, and this has continued to grind higher and higher and is now sitting at some very interesting levels. So got to squeeze down the chart here a little bit. Oops, I guess I didn't have to go down that far. But regardless, let me get this across here. Next couple interesting levels. First one right there at essentially the 28-cent mark. In fact, let's just do this. Let's just, because if the price can clear up through here, then you know all these have been cleared out of the way. And that is right up there at 29 cents. So 29 cents, just to make things a little bit more black and white, is going to be the key level. Because again, I understand if you're saying, no, Clay, I think it's somewhere below 29. I completely see where you're coming from. But that's why I said from a simplicity standpoint, if I just make it 29, then if 29 is broken, that implies that all those other ones are also already broken. So keep an eye on that 29-cent mark from overarching resistance standpoint. Going to zoom back in here. So again, that's where that red line is coming from. As far as supports are concerned, in the near term, keep an eye right there on that 25-cent mark. And then also keep an eye on that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which is starting to curl back upwards, which is always a good thing. So preferably speaking, yeah, staying above that level would be great. But if the price drops below it, not the end of the world, because the price is still above not only the 50-period moving average, the purple line, but also the 200-period moving average down there, the pink line. So that's kind of my long way of saying good, healthy-looking chart. And in the very near term, I could do this real quick. Nice little bull flag, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it, that's formed today. But all in all, nice looking chart. Next one, PLTR, and once again, I'm not going to go through it all, but let me bring up the talking topic again of those self-fulfilling prophecies and how that trend line right there, you got to think a lot of people have put that into play. So once more, not me trying to impress you or imply a great skill. So as I said, are things guaranteed? No, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price comes up to that level and breaks up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure because of the self-fulfilling prophecy? Absolutely. And the other interesting dynamic here is this thing started off really, really rough on the day. Down here, came down, and then after that just slowly has grinded higher and higher and is now within striking distance of that trend line again. So again, that's the big question mark moving forward. Can the price break above that trend line? We'll see what happens. Next one, WISA, and there's no denying it, this is a very ugly looking chart, but for those of you longtime viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. So, I mean, pretty crazy to think that the price gapped up, came all the way up here, and I mean, sad story. There were some poor souls that were buying there. There were some poor souls that bought right there, and then after that, I mean, just straight down. But, like I said, there can be opportunity in the ugly, and we now have a situation where we essentially have this gap close location happening right here at, let's just call it $1.55. And along with the gap close, you have also that purple line there, 50 moving average, which just kind of moved its way up. So this general area of the chart makes you go, huh, Could this be a spot where the buyers finally run or finally step back in and you get some sort of bounce in the upwards direction? And from a risk reward standpoint, this, of course, I am operating on the assumption that you're going to be a disciplined trader, that you're going to honor stop loss and all that good stuff. But if you are a disciplined trader, then from a risk reward standpoint, because to be fair, maybe this thing keeps dropping, and if you're going to be turning something that holds in hope, well, then, yeah, you don't want to even touch that because that could turn disastrous. But if you can cut the loss, then assuming that criteria, you could have a very nice risk-reward scenario. So big pullback, definitely looking ugly, but is this the point where everybody gives up and then all of a sudden it turns around? We'll see what happens. Next one, AMC, and the downtrend continues, once again, put in lower lows, which has been, just the common theme here. So there's the low from today. Now, to be fair, at least didn't go down there and stay around there. Did get a nice little bounce in the upwards direction and is still now going sideways. But in all actuality, yeah, it's bounced, but I wouldn't get too excited about it because, for multiple reasons, the price is still below the purple line there, 50-period moving average. Price isn't anywhere close to that overall trend line, which, as I've been saying in the past videos, I think will still ultimately play a role at some point. So, yes, if you want to look at the glass half full, I appreciate your optimism. I just say don't be too optimistic because, yeah, it's bounced, but it's still got so much more work to do from the bullish side of things. In terms of levels of support, want to squeeze this down and just add a little bit more context. So, it could always be worse. The price could be pushing, down at these lows down here at 460, which not anywhere close. But nonetheless, as far as supports are concerned, key level now to watch moving forward going to be right there at that $5 mark, which generally speaking is right where the price found some buyers right there. And then right there also. So keep an eye on that level as it's definitely a key level from a support standpoint. And if the price does try to turn itself around, then I think, in my opinion, at least most eyes are going to be on that trend line right there. But all in all, another bearish day of lower lows. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, AI, and the idea of a watch list, and I bring this up because there's not a huge amount I can talk about, but the point of a watch list is to find interesting situations and not rush out and start randomly buying stuff, but watching it. And in my opinion, at least, this is a very unique situation. Huge volume on the day, and then essentially has gone straight up the entire day long. Of all this, you had a little miniature red candle here and looking like a red candle here going to form. But other than that, one green candle after another, which again, in my opinion, is an interesting day. So if you agree and say, well, yeah, that is kind of interesting, then throw it on your watch list. If you're like, Clay, you're being a drama queen, this is not interesting, then fair enough. You don't have to put it on your watch list. But like I said, in my mind, this is a pretty interesting scenario. And I want to map out a couple of key levels here because if this move is going to continue on up, then some next potential battleground. So I can't really tell. Has the price might already be above this one. I just can't quite eyeball it. Yeah, so the price is basically doing battle right here at 24. So if you go through the history of things, you can see 24, resistance, and right now it's pushing. As I speak, it's literally a penny below it. But right around this area. So that'll be the first big question mark. You got to think a lot of people asking, can the price finally get some separation to the upside from that level as it's got a big track record? If it can, then the next key level of resistance after that would then be up there right around the $25 mark. So resistance-wise, 24, 25. Next couple of key levels, if you're someone that likes to play more so pullbacks, then I'll zoom in here. Interesting potential pullback. No, that doesn't really help out too much. So in this regard, looking right around $23 could be an interesting level there. But like I said, all in all, this is just a crazy chart. Straight up, massive volume. So let's see how it continues to play out. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And the level here, and we'll just call it a self-fulfilling prophecy point because you now know what I mean by that. It's got to be down here at this area where the price bounced at, let's see, what was that? The 164, let's call it 50. And then along with that, not only is it the previous lows from right here, but it's a double whammy because you also have that pink line, the very well-known 200-period moving average, that's right there too. So you got to think that that's going to be a level that a lot of people are watching. You're going to have some people thinking, and I understand where they're coming from, who want to play a double bottom, thinking it's going to come down there, double bottom back up. Again, that's valid. You're also going to have people saying, no, I think it's going to come down there, break through it. So they're going to be more of a bearish standpoint. Again, I see where they're coming from. But that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But the core dynamic here is that you got to think that a lot of people have noticed that level, and that'll be a backbone of some sort of trade plan. So what trade plan you would want to use, obviously that's up to you and your strategy, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it seems as though a lot of other people are at that 164.50 mark, which, introduces, like I said earlier, that self-fulfilling prophecy angle of things. In terms of levels of resistance, you're going to want to continue to watch that purple line right there, 50-period moving average. You can see price rejected a couple of times there on Friday. This morning, got temporarily above it, but that didn't last long, and then back down it went. So if there is any sort of attempted turnaround, watch that purple line there. But in my opinion, at least, it's all about that 164.50 mark. Got to think so many people will be watching that area. Next one, SoFi. The premise here is very simple. Nasty gap down, nasty opening 30 minutes, and then to give full credit, credit's due, a very, very impressive bounce in the upwards direction, which brings about the more than valid question. Yeah, nice bounce, but is there any sort of genuine power behind this bounce, or is this just some sort of dead cat? And I have no idea, but the good news is by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. In my mind, it's all about 460. And how is that helpful? Well, movements with genuine power are not going to go straight up because nothing goes straight up, but they are going to show signs of progress. And what is the quote-unquote sign of progress? Well, 460, meaning if the price comes down here and then just continues on down, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of true power. Where on the flip side of things, if the price comes down here, bounces around and then heads back up, now all of a sudden what would you have? Well, in this situation, you'd have a set of lows right there. You'd have lows down there. And if you envision each one of those as stair-steps, well, now you're going to have progress being made in the upwards direction. So once again, movements with genuine power don't go straight up. Nothing goes straight up. But you got to see signs of progress. And the quote-unquote sign of progress that I'm using is going to be right there at $4.60. Next one, BOIL. Very nice move here. Talked about this on Friday, given the big explosion in volume, and you had essentially that little flag pattern right there that formed, and today was continuation of it. So all in all, the momentum seems to be back, and it's just a question of can the momentum continue to build upon itself. And in this situation, I'm curious, as it seems though this trend line here, the price, is going to want to really kind of respect this trend line here moving forward. So keep an eye on that. A bit of a tricky resistance trend line because it's not like it's a bad resistance in terms of rejecting the price, because in theory, it could continue to reject the price, but the price is still putting in higher highs. So a little bit of an interesting dynamic right there. But on the flip side of that, you also have, let's try that again. This area right there, which is, basically same general angle, and it's this sideways channel. So I don't know. I mean, I guess let me know in the comment section if you would agree. I don't know. Is that a bull flag pattern? Usually bull flags are going down. So I don't even know if that's possible. So I don't know. Would you call that a bull flag? Let me know in the comment section if you're a bull flag enthusiast. But like I said, point here being, that would be considered an area of support since that's the downwards part of the pattern. But if the price were to come down here and break through that green line, then I'm not going to say the chart's collapsing, but at that point, I don't think anybody would be shocked to see it at least go down there and retest that 200-period moving average. But all in all, a couple of very well-defined channels. You do have an upwards channel, and it's just really a question of can the momentum keep up, and who knows, even get a breakout to the upside of the channel, and that could definitely create that much more buying pressure. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ market has a good day. This one also has a good day. And it's looking like we could potentially be getting a battle here up at that resistance trend line, which I just talked about previously. Doesn't have an upward slope to it. So it's one of those where the resistance could continually knock the price down, but the chart could still be in an uptrend because it's, could continue to be putting those higher highs. But you can see past history, and I've had this trend line in play for a while now, but the chart has really, really, really respected that area. So if it can get up to that area, which puts a, trend line right up around $29.50, I think that'll be a very interesting battle that could potentially play out. As far as support trend lines are concerned, have a very interesting level right down here. So let me change that to green. So, depending on your strategy, if you like to play more so pullbacks and bounces off of supports, then that's a level that, by using that point and that point has done a fantastic job of forecasting that area of resistance and that area. So, that's just the power of charts. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for that free training because our chart's perfect. No, nothing's perfect, but there's certainly a tool worth using. So overall, like I said, I think this resistance trend line is much more interesting because the price is much closer to potentially doing battle with that rather than being all the way down there. But nonetheless, let's continue to see how the price behaves relative to these lines as the week plays out. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live online class. Like I said, it'll be a couple days, Thursday, May 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow, or just say hi. But hitting the like button and leaving a comment really help out the channel, really help out these videos, and I thank you in advance. So again, get signed up for that free class. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.